According to a person with knowledge of the situation, the players' union proposal would allegedly result in projected losses of $460 million.
That exact amount of money, is what the WNBA is projected to lose if team owners cave to the players' union's latest, unprecedented demands. Right now, the league is staring down the barrel of a catastrophic financial standoff, one that could wipe out the entire 2026 season. We're watching superstar players issue public ultimatums. We're watching ownership groups openly threaten to lock the doors. And in the shadows, a brand new alternative basketball league is waiting, ready to swoop in and steal the best talent on the planet. But inside these negotiations lies a massive, uncomfortable truth, one that mainstream sports media refuses to say out loud. The players are demanding a massive share of a financial pie that was built, accelerated, and expanded almost entirely because of one single rookie. Before we break down the disastrous math behind this looming WNBA lockout, listen closely to the rhetoric coming directly from the top decision-makers inside the Players Association.
Calling out the WNBA owners to a standoff for these CBA negotiations. She's basically saying, hey, somebody's gonna have to fold and it ain't gonna be us. This is the nasty rep.
Somebody is going to have to fold. That isn't a negotiation tactic. That's a declaration of war. Welcome to modern sports business, where PR statements mean nothing and the money trail tells the truth. Today, we're breaking down the single economic flaw ripping the WNBA apart, the hidden motive behind the new, unrivaled league, and why billionaire Mark Cuban just stepped in to expose a reality that could save women's basketball or blow it up entirely. To understand why the WNBA is now inches from an economic meltdown, you have to go back to the spark that ignited this entire standoff. Nafisa Collier, five-time All-Star, Minnesota Lynx superstar, and vice president of the WNBA, recently ditched the usual corporate safe talking points during an interview promoting her new partnership with Icy Hot. Instead, she stared down the billionaire owners through a camera lens and said the quiet part out loud. Someone is going to have to fold, and it won't be the players. That level of confidence didn't come from nowhere. It came from her other job. Collier isn't just a player. She's the co-founder of Unrivaled, a new, heavily funded, US-based women's league designed to pay players massive off-season salaries and compete directly with the WNBA. The conflict of interest is impossible to ignore. A top executive of a rival league is sitting at the negotiating table telling the WNBA to push the league to the edge. And analysts are now asking the dangerous question: does she actually want a new CBA or a lockout? Because if the 2026 WNBA season gets delayed or canceled, Unrivaled instantly becomes the center of the women's basketball world, grabbing the media attention, the sponsorship money, and every desperate player who still needs a paycheck. It's ruthless. It's strategic. And for the WNBA, it's a ticking time bomb. So what exactly is the players' union demanding? And why are the owners ready to shut the entire league down? The numbers are jaw-dropping. Earlier this week, the union submitted a counterproposal asking for 25% of league gross revenue in year one, escalating to around 27.5% over the life of the deal, a salary cap of nearly $9.5 million, and continued heavily subsidized housing for early career players. In the NBA or NFL, 25% sounds tiny. But those leagues run on massive profits. The WNBA historically runs on massive losses, often surviving only because the NBA keeps the lights on. Players see sold-out arenas, record ratings, and merch flying off shelves, and they want their piece now. They even started at 30% in December and believe dropping to 25% is a major compromise. Owners look at the actual balance sheets, and the math is a financial disaster. Because if they sign this deal, the WNBA instantly collapses under its own expenses. The projected losses line up almost exactly with what the players are demanding. Someone is going to fold. And this time, the entire future of women's basketball is on the line.
To a person with knowledge of the situation, the players' union proposal would allegedly result in projected losses of $460 million over the lifetime of that agreement for WNBA teams. And you remember, it was at a $700 million loss for the 30%.
We're talking about $460 million in projected losses over the lifetime of this agreement. No sports league on earth can survive bleeding $500 million just to satisfy a union demand. The owners actually countered with a proposal giving players over 70% of the league and team net value, meaning real profits. But the players shut it down instantly. Why? Because they don't want net value. They know the truth. Net profits in the WNBA are razor thin, and in many cities, non-existent. So instead, they want a percentage of gross revenue, the money that comes in before anything is paid for, before arena fees, before marketing budgets, before front office salaries, before the new, extremely expensive charter flight program. And that brings us to the massive, uncomfortable elephant in the room. The real reason this fight has become so explosive. Why is the gross revenue suddenly high enough that players are willing to risk their entire careers to grab a piece of it right now? The answer comes down to two words.
Trying to eat out of Caitlin Clark's pie. Let's be real here. Caitlin Clark served this dish up on a platter for you guys like it was Thanksgiving, and all y'all doing is messing up the food at this point. Y'all messing up the food.
Caitlin Clark. Before Clark arrived, the WNBA was struggling to sell tickets in half of its markets. Then she hit the professional stage, and everything changed. Arenas sold out coast to coast. Major networks tore up their schedules to put WNBA games in primetime slots. Millions of new, passionate fans flooded the sport, generating a wave of revenue the league had never seen in its 28-year history. Now, the Players Association is trying to leverage the Caitlin Clark effect to secure multi-million-dollar guaranteed contracts for the entire league. It's like a struggling local theater hiring a Hollywood superstar for one play, and suddenly the stagehands, lighting crew, and understudies demand a 400% pay raise because the box office exploded for that single month. Yes, the pie is bigger, but the owners are veteran business people. They refuse to lock themselves into $500 million of guaranteed debt based on a one-year spike caused by a single generational talent. They want to see if this growth is sustainable over 3 to 5 years before handing out the keys to the vault. And that's where we hit a stalemate. The players demand cash the league cannot sustainably pay without risking bankruptcy. How do you fix a fundamentally broken economic system? You bring in a billionaire who knows how to build one from scratch. Enter Mark Cuban. The former majority owner of the Dallas Mavericks looked at the WNBA's finances, analyzed the players' complaints, and exposed why the current model is doomed to fail. Here comes the brutal reality check.